Hi all, thought I'll give you another update even though it's only been 1 week since my last video. Been making good progress on the rear fuselage and there are plenty of things I think that are noteworthy, so thought I'll put another video out. So since the last bit where I had done ran all the wiring through for the frame before putting the skins on, I did the pitot system, used the fuel tank sealant to stick the static ports to the skin. I did that first and then attach the hose, gently heat up the hose and then they slide on quite well. Finalized the GMU 11 position. I decided to put it right behind this large square hole where it's easily accessible and out of the way of the radar cables and the push rod. So hopefully that won't have any interference, and did got that checked with the company that will supply my avionics. The COM1 antenna, the factory has a new setup where using these 3-piece brackets and a stiffener or a channel inside that long run. So that was a bit tricky to getting that riveted from the side, but did that first and then attached it to the aircraft or installed it after that was riveted. And just before, on top of this luggage box, there is another piece of skin which sits behind the bulkhead. It was supplied with the kit, but the new manual doesn't show where it goes. So again, drilled it out and put that back in, put it on. The other bits, now pretty much everything was done in terms of the rear fuselage section, and it was time to put the top skins on essentially. Just on the pitot system, once the initial bit of sealant had cured, I came back and put quite a lot of sealant on the outside just so that it stays on there quite solid. If you accidentally pull it, it won't come off, because over time you'd try to clean the static port. Many times you might push from the outside. Then I tried to clico the top skins on. Also had to do all the foam insulation before that. Try to put as much foam insulation as possible on the bulkhead, on the luggage extension box and everywhere. And then did the right side top skin first. As per the manual, the left one goes over the right one. The alignment is quite good. Again, did all the clicos in the middle, I think along that rib 3. Put all the, maybe rib 4, put the clicos along that rib 4 and manipulated so that the holes match towards the front and way at the back. Also the cable tray which sits on top of the luggage, clicoed that in place to see alignment of that. Seemed to be quite fine. On this side, pretty much put a clico in every hole. Along that top row, it was fine. It did match up quite well, apart from the very rear section where there's quite a bit of misalignment. Back on the cable tray, basically what happened was the 4 rivets on the rib 2. There's also a kind of a L-shaped channel behind it. And when you assemble this subassembly, the rib 2 subassembly, it shows the flat of that is on top, but that's not right. If it needs to be on the bottom to be lined up with the 2 holes to be riveted on that cable tray itself. So I had to drill those 4 rivets out, take that channel out and attach it to the cable tray first before bringing this thing all up, because as you can see, the axis, those 2 clicos, you just can't get the rivet gun in once it's in place. So it's just a matter of trying to clico things in place and seeing if you have access. And also at the rear end of this cable tray, none of the holes are drilled on the bulkhead, so you have to match drill those and attach and rivet it. So once I marked up all the holes on that bulkhead, I attached the L-shaped channel to the cable tray and then brought it up, and then it was easy to rivet the 4 rivets to complete that rib to assembly, and then also riveted from the top of the skin. Once that was done, the next step was the left side top skin. Again, that went on quite well, not many issues in terms of alignment. Again, did the same, the center side, cleco in pretty much every hole. Towards the end though, there is a little bit of misalignment, not too much that I have to completely match drill it. So my trick here was I couldn't get the copper clecos in because there was slight misalignment, but I could get the silver ones in, which are smaller. So I put a silver cleco in each alternate hole and then match drilled the other hole, then put the copper clecos in and then took out the silver clecos and match drilled those, and that way I'm holding the skins tighter together to the long run and just doing that minimal match drilling as possible. I mean, you can always go one size up for the rivets to get to a much tighter fit, but I didn't have too much of misalignment to do that, to go one size up. So, and this was the end result. I think it came out quite good. Certainly the last probably the 10 rivets had to be squared out, and also this where the skin meets this last rib, pretty much every hole had to be match drilled because the holes on the rib itself just don't align at all to the top skin. The static port, once it's fully cured, it sits nice and flush to the skin. So it was so once both skins were fully riveted, it was time to work on the luggage door. I am missing one piece for the antenna mount, so I still have a few clecos on top. The door itself was pretty straightforward, and the manual has all the instructions. The piano hinge itself is not it doesn't have any holes drilled, so you can put the door up and match drill in the correct in the correct position. I think that helps with that particular step. Yeah, and I think once the top skin was fully riveted on the long run and everything, it looked now quite a stable, solid assembly. So this right section can now be pretty much completed and moved aside to make way for the center section. So this is the final stage of it when I had the door fitted as well. So essentially, I think there's detailed instructions on the new manual about how to do this. So you first attach the hinge to the door. The door already has holes drilled in it, so you match drill the piano hinge and then bring the whole thing up and make sure it aligns quite well. It also gives you a rough dimension of where to bend that the door, because that's applied flat. I still have to do the lock, and I'm missing that antenna top plate. So once I have that, I can finish those 4 rivets on top. Plus there are also 4 riv nuts to go there where you mount the comm antenna. So plan is to slide this back. I've cut a hole in my shed at the back, and that'll give me space to or my bench back for the center fuselage. So next, hopefully in a couple of weeks time, I should have an update on the center fuselage.